Hi, everybody. It's Ryan from Pi Records, and I'm here with Vincent and Magdalena from High Tide Recordings. How are you doing, guys?
Doing great.
Hello, good morning, Ryan. Good to see you.
Good to see you. So yesterday, first of all, you got a giant pallet of records. What did you get? What did you get that was so cool?
Two releases. One was a repress of Los Frenéticos, Teletransportación, that sold out last summer, barely before we were able to put it on sale. They were touring from Argentina. They did the West Coast, they did the East Coast, they played our event, and we ran out. So we just got those restocked, which is exciting. And the other one is
top secret Christmas album from a band from your neck of the woods. You may know them.
Okay.
Slowly in the Boats. Do you know those guys?
No, I don't.
Ooh, you should. They're from Philadelphia. They're like a fantastic like swing era Hawaiian style instrumental band. They do some vocal stuff here and there, but we have a first Christmas release from them that was delivered yesterday, so we're really excited about it. But
you got records, right?
But that was yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we got 1,000 records delivered yesterday, and thanks for the last minute flexibility on the reschedule. We had to take care of that.
No problem. Tell me a little bit about the label. What your primary focus on is, and basically how you got started.
Sure. So we didn't really intend to start a record label. I guess that's sometimes the common story. But I played in a band called Black Flamingos. I played drums, and in 2016 we recorded a 45 single, and actually it wasn't a 45 at the time. It was just a little 2-song, and we were hoping to find a label partner. So we sent it all around to a bunch of labels that had done surf music in the past. Double Crown, Deep Eddy, Spin Out, and we all kind of got the same response. It was like, hey, sounds great, but not really doing vinyl projects right now. It was a little bit kind of before the vinyl resurgence that we see now what's happening.
Yeah.
So we just sort of saw that as an opportunity where, like, hey, let's just start something and just slap that branding on this Black Flamingos 45 and do it ourselves. But then it got us thinking, like, what about all the other bands, in the community that are up and coming, right? Like Slowly in the Boats was one we had our eyes on from playing our events. The Surfer Jets, we had made friends with them in Canada. The Men in Gray Suits from Canada, and the Primitive Things from Philadelphia. So we just got to thinking, like, who's going to be the outlet for these bands? And as we got to thinking about that more, we just sort of decided to reach out and see if these bands wanted to do records, and here we are 3 years later.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy, the number of releases that even just happened this year, but pretty exciting for us.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been around?
2016 is when we started the label officially, and that kind of stemmed from putting on a music event in Asbury Park this would have been year 7 for us. So it started really with event promotion and kind of tapping into the local bands that were around us that were playing in the surf genre, or kind of little variations within that. And that really sparked a lot of the interest, I would say.
Well, yeah, the event started in 2014. It was called Asbury Park Surf Music Festival at the time. We rebranded that to High Tide Summer Holiday last year. But, we brought the Finks up. We brought Slowing the Boats up. And again, as we just developed relationships with these guys, we realized there was a partnership that could happen to get their music out to the world. So it's been great to develop these relationships around the world.
So speaking of relationships, tell me about the community in the United States and all around the world. It's kind of a small but seems very large to me community of bands and labels, all the way from the Messer Chops to the Space Cossacks and the Madeira. You want to tell me a little bit about your place in all this?
Yeah, I mean, all those bands that you just mentioned are friends of ours. fantastic bands, and we sort of were following suit in some of the labels that came before us. Music Recordings, Double Crown, as you mentioned. And yeah, it's been really nice to sort of join that community, right? And you're right, everyone has a great sort of camaraderie where we all want to see each other succeed and put surf music and exotic music in front of as many new fans as possible. So yeah, then there's this overlap of also sort of the cocktail community or the tiki community, if you will. Adventures into rockabilly, adventures into lots of different corners of the sort of roots music scene. So we just focus on making friends and supporting our friends as well. And it's a really great community, as you mentioned. We're happy to be a part of that.
Do you how I know you said exotic music, but how far out do you branch from the surf music on your label?
We, in the last probably year or two, started to expand the label a little bit beyond the surf genre. So we now have bands that are going more in the exotic direction. We did an anniversary release with the Tiki Yaki Orchestra last summer. We have a couple new bands on the label that definitely go more into the Hawaiian sound and exotica. We have a brand new band on the label, the Hilo High Flyers from LA.
Fantastic.
They're
band.
fantastic. And that's like a little bit of mix of vocals in there too. And Slowing the Boats now has been adding some more vocal tunes to their selection. It's something that we really love. We're not just tied to that, because I feel like surf and lounge and exotica, it all creates this really neat escape, and they work well together, and it allows you to kind of translate it into a lot of different spaces, which for us has been really helpful. We don't really have a tiki bar in the area, so we create these spaces when we pop up and DJ by playing all of those kinds of music together. So that's kind of the direction the label's been going in, and it's been fun to expand the audience too. You're introducing people to surf that only listened to exotica before, and the other way around.
Yeah, it's that sort of started, I guess. Some of the earliest I can trace that back to was working with Bloodshot Bill, who is sort of a one-man band from Montreal. Are you familiar with Bill?
No.
Oh, you should be. It's great stuff. But a lot of it is, very kind of dirty, gritty rockabilly. And he reached out to us and said, "Hey, I have some surf instrumentals. Would you be interested in putting this out?" And we heard it, and it's like super like late 50s Link Ray style. It's fantastic. That record gave us a little bit more visibility, kind of in that rockabilly scene. We had the Surfer Jets perform at Nashville Boogie, so we were sort of the surf label that was present at the rockabilly event. The New England Shake Up there's the Bloodshot Bill record.
Yeah, so this is the first one that we did with him. Oh, wow. Yeah, and it's fantastic, and it really just it makes you feel like you are listening to a Link Ray record. It doesn't feel overly new. It's great sound.
But yeah, we found ourselves, at events around the world that had this sort of mix of, many different genres. So it sort of just occurred to us that, if we're only doing one thing, that we're maybe not we're not exposing our bands to like different audiences. So we wanted to sort of push that as far as we could.
Yeah, I think it comes down to like the type of shows that we were putting on and the bills that we were booking, and then also the releases beyond that. So it's definitely been an expansion.
It's been fun to push the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah.
When I was talking to the Volcanics, Ben specifically said sometimes you wind up not knowing what kind of show you're going to be on that night. There's a mix between punk rock, rockabilly, surf, lounge. Do you guys find that you're kind of within that mix? Like
sure.
When it comes to shows and like you were booking?
Yeah, I mean that's honestly best case scenario is to have a diverse bill, because if all bands on the bill sound the same and they have the same audience, nobody's really gaining a whole lot from that, right? Aside from the audience just enjoying themselves. But if you can bring together, 3 or 4 different audiences, and then everyone cross pollinates, that's best case scenario, right?
I think it keeps it really interesting for the attendee too. Like it's a different sound. You don't feel like you're listening to the same thing over and over again, which sometimes, I mean, even we are guilty of that. Our festival originally was very strictly
10 surf bands
and it was one day of music, and it truly just, it's fatiguing. And it really didn't open our eyes to it until we were moved inside because of weather, and we were like, wow, this is a lot of the same sound and the reverb, and it just, as fantastic as it is, as great as the bands are, it can be a lot. And so we've realized that the more mixed bills we do, it's just more interesting for you as an attendee.
It's really cool to. I love a mixed bill. They used to do those kind of shows in Philly a lot, and the one time I got to see these aren't as independent, but I got to see the Squirrel Nut Zippers with Face to Face and the Reverend Horton Heat.
Wow, what a fantastic bill!
All right,
and I was like,
well, yeah, I mean, even like.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Kung Fu Necktie. Like, I mean, we've done a lot of shows in partnership with them, and the bills have always been pretty unique in that sense, which is always fun. It just makes for a really exciting evening.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rosie might pop in and say hello here and there. Our pup.
Our little Boston pit mix.
I have Bella upstairs, and she's been talking to me. She wants me to come upstairs and play.
Well, that sounds like a legendary show right there. Squirrel Nut Zippers, yeah. But it definitely makes sense though. The bill makes a lot of sense.
There's crossovers.
Yeah. I like the Rev a lot, and
we're big fan.
Yeah.
So in Face to Face, but I was surprised by the Squirrel Nut Zippers performance, because I had only ever seen them or heard them on the radio.
Right.
It was kind of obscure for the time.
Yeah, they were part of that like sort of swing revival. I guess Rev was as well, but yeah, I mean, you heard that big single from Squirrel Nut on the radio, but they actually have some really cool stuff. Great musicians, great songwriters also. So that's very, very cool show you got to see.
Something that struck me when you sent me the picture yesterday of your records coming in, I saw Magdalena, and I was like, wait a minute, it's not just a one-man band down there. It seems to be like a husband and wife team, which is pretty much what Pie Records is. I don't know how much you we do, but we do a lot of promos for independent labels and records. And my wife will do the promo videos, and I'll do the interviews. And we're slowly becoming a label, slowly but surely. But I was really struck by the husband-wife team that you have. Tell me about how that works.
Well, everything we've done from the events to the label has evolved as a partnership. It's always been really collaborative. I do a lot more of like the customer facing stuff, and I handle all of our order fulfillment. I take a hand in like sequencing albums for our artists.
Art direction, a
lot of our ideas will start with sketches in a notebook for me. And Vincent does a lot of the like promotion, social media side of things. That's like a combination, but he does a lot of art for the label as well, from just like promo materials to the mock-ups, all of our stuff. And then he gets into some of the nitty gritty behind the scenes,
but not fun stuff,
music submission,
license agreements and
stuff.
Yeah.
That's definitely a little more his area of expertise. I'm learning, but it is definitely a process.
Yeah, but we go ahead.
Oh, that was my son. I was sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
No,
nice.
it's fine. I thought you had to
No
go for a
worries.
second.
But really the spark was when we were planning our honeymoon. We were thinking about maybe going to Surfer Joe Summer Festival in Italy, and
Would have been great.
yeah, we just couldn't swing it that year. So we were sitting on the couch. We were like, hey, why don't we do an event ourselves in our hometown? And that was just sort of a project that we worked on with a local team. And since then, everything that we've done, events, releases, DJing, it's all been sort of the husband and wife duo partnership. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of people ask, like, because I work full time, I have a full time job. A lot of people ask, like, how do you find time to do the label and work full time and but also, like, doesn't your wife get like mad that you're spending all this time on this? It's like, no, like, that's we hang out and we do it together. So it makes it so we have sort of husband and wife time while we're working on projects.
Yeah,
It's nice.
We have stamping parties, assembling all of our 45s together. It's definitely like a very hands-on duo here.
That is awesome. I felt the short time that my wife and I have been doing this, I always like talking about music, and being in my late 40s with kids, sometimes it takes you out of the scene for a little bit, and then I said, oh, I want to start talking about music, and then so I asked my wife if she want to do it with me, and yeah, it's been the best. So I totally get where you guys are coming from.
It's
That's
fun.
exciting.
There's definitely like a passion behind it. It's there's days it feels like a lot of work, but it's also fun work. So we can't really complain about that. And we have a great fan base that is expanding. That's been super supportive, especially this year, more than we really ever could have expected. And so we're very grateful for that.
Ryan, have you started putting releases out yet? Or are you still in the planning phase for that?
I can't talk about it yet because it hasn't gone to press.
Top secret.
But we're doing our first release, and it is a surf band with vocals. I'm sure you've probably heard of them.
All right, we're intrigued.
Being a punk fan, there's a connection there for me, so I was very, very excited to get involved.
All right, well, keep us posted. We do have a friends section of our website, so maybe we can trade some records or something. That'd be fun.
Oh, that'd be awesome. So during the quarantine, I noticed a lot of bands are doing a lot of writing. I myself expanded into podcasts and just tried to do something to keep myself sane, do as much as I can. How did you guys cope with the work? Did you plan releases? What did you do?
We did a few digital releases that became these really interesting collaborative distanced projects with members from different bands on the label. Most people had a home recording set up, so it was easy to send everyone scratch tracks and compile these songs. And how many releases did we do officially?
We did 5 digital singles under the title The High Tide Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we collaborated with Graham from Swinging Palms, Brian from the Manicoras, Ted from Satan's Pilgrims, Jeremy from the Manicoras, who else was on that? Declan from Black Flamingos, Robbie from Black Flamingos.
Ryan from Plato Zorba. Yeah, I mean,
Magda did lead vocals on House of Bamboo. That was a really cool one. People love that one.
I've never recorded before, so that was like an exciting.
Oh, wow.
Like have a history of singing and everything, a lot of background there, but never really been in a recording situation, so that was fun.
Yeah, and it's actually been really fun to explore the pop. Actually, we did a bossa nova tune with Matthias from Los Freneticos in Argentina as well.
Yes.
But it's been really exciting to sort of explore the possibilities. That's one silver lining, I think, of this quarantine or pandemic is like, I think we only thought of like writing and creating as like our own immediate circle, but now it's like, using the internet, using certain tools that exist, like you can literally create music with people around the world. So we're going to try and continue to do that.
Yeah, there's amazing technology now that makes this really kind of a breeze. Excuse me. Rosie.
Yeah, that's very interesting. How a lot of businesses and bands and labels and even local businesses, how they kind of have to get creative during these uncertain times. I hate to say it that way, but
Yeah. Well, I think it was nice because we were able to at least create a situation for some of our band members to be playing, because really live music at that point, most of the recordings were done very early in shelter in place, so it she's not into it.
Be nice.
So it allowed us to create some type of performance opportunity for them, which and I mean, even going forward, we're probably going to do a lot more of these remote recording sessions because we don't really know what shows will look like, even distancing properly. I mean, it just will be a very different experience.
Yeah, we also did we did a couple DJ gigs.
We did.
Yeah, we have sort of this like home bar, a bar we call home here in Jersey, Cellar 335 in Jersey City. We had a monthly evening we would do there. We would go and play records. So we sort of translated that to a virtual thing. That was really fun. And honestly, we're very fortunate to be in the business of selling vinyl right now, because I think as people were home more, like we actually saw like a lot of people, a lot of new customers, buying records and, wanting to, I guess, have a little escape in their living room. So we did okay during the pandemic.
Yeah, I totally get that. I might have spent a little bit more than I should have on vinyl.
Oh my God. I was like a Discogs junkie the whole time. Like I got so many.
There were many deliveries arriving at our house, and Vincent would be like, "Oh, I forgot I ordered this."
Every 2 or 3 days, new vinyl coming.
Yeah, I totally. It's funny. That's where we're at. We're at Discogs, our store. We have a store there. So while I'm managing the store, I'm like, I'm gonna search for this, and I was
dangerous.
Yeah.
But we got some good stuff.
Yeah, they send you those emails like, "Hey, Pi Records, there's a 10 new thing from your want list."
Yeah,
Then you go down the rabbit hole.
Trouble.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
That's how they get you. So what I want to say is, what do you have coming up in the near future? What's your plans for the rest of 2020?
Right now we have one pre-order record that we're waiting on that is a little bit of a Halloween release. The Hula Girls, Curse of the Tiki is a re-release for the 10-year anniversary of the album. So that should be here in the next week or so, which is exciting.
Those were originally scheduled for release at Tiki Oasis. In San Diego. We were going to be out there as guest DJs and to sort of host that release party. But it was originally released 10 years ago at Tiki Oasis 2010. So we're excited to put it back on vinyl. It's beautiful. It's going to be like sea glass colored vinyl.
It's pretty.
That's coming in the next 2 weeks. Stay tuned.
And then we have 2 new vinyl releases for the holidays. So those will be November releases, which are going to be pretty exciting. Floating the Boats we mentioned. We
also have a Christmas album from the Volcanics, as you know. I think they dropped the secret.
Yeah.
They kind of mentioned that, but they didn't want to get into specifics. I think they knew I was going to talk to you, so I think they would have let you take care of that.
Yeah, so it's an EP. It's 4 songs, red vinyl. The artwork's fantastic. The songs and the arrangements are fantastic. But that'll be out. Both the Christmas records will be out in early November. We also have some cool other like little merch projects. For example, we have a holiday 45 adapter that's going to go with the Volcanics
it matches
record.
their artwork.
That's made by our friends at Swell Tune Records. This one's out now. It's a Halloween record adapter, also made by Swell Tune. And we have our Halloween Mai Tai glass as well.
That's
which
sweet.
is pretty exciting. We kind of got into like the cocktail glass game. And then this is our upcoming holiday. It's like different tiki ornaments.
Both of these were designed by Fred Lammers from Norway. So he's a fantastic artist that we've been very lucky to work with in the past. And we hope he maybe does some new projects going forward with us.
But yeah, so we had a really busy 2020. We're kind of winding it down from a release standpoint. But, next year we're going to have the Hilo High Flyers on vinyl. Lit Agamemnons, another full length on vinyl, which we're really excited about. New material from Black Flamingos.
We'll do some High Tide Orchestra vinyl releases as well, which will be exciting.
We'll see. Yeah. Sometimes these things just come out of the woodwork. Like people will drop, we have a full length from the Televisionaries coming out. But sometimes people just drop stuff in our inbox and we're like, all right, we're doing this. So. And
there will be more holiday records going forward. So next year you can expect at least a couple releases.
And we're hoping that we can do events again next year. We'd love to do our winter event. We did a winter holiday last year or this year.
Yeah, it was February.
And that was in partnership with Hidden Harbor in Pittsburgh. So we'd love to get back there and hopefully do our summer event again. But, fingers crossed.
I would love
2020 just might be a year for sitting back and making plans. Yeah. So
I would love to hear the High Tide Orchestra. That sounds like a really cool project.
Thanks. I'll send you. What's your preferred digital platform?
Well, I use anything from Bandcamp to Apple or.
Okay. I'll send you a little Apple Music playlist you can check out.
Awesome. In closing, I want to ask, is there anything else you want to talk about or mention? Anything at all?
Well, just want to thank you for reaching out, for supporting the Volcanics, for reaching out to us, and we're excited to see what's coming from your label. That sounds really exciting.
Yes, very intrigued.
Yeah, we'd love to get down to Philly sometime soon, and maybe we could actually meet not over a WebEx. So that'd be great. But we appreciate you taking the time to shine the spotlight on the label. It means a lot.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time because I know how busy you guys are working full time and then still doing a full-time label, and planning. And I really appreciate you sharing your time with me, and it was really a fun experience for me.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you for having us.
Okay, I want to say goodbye and thank you very much, and I wish you the best for the rest of 2020.
Thanks, Brian. You too. See you soon. Be safe.